Hello, everybody. Daniel Feuerstein here for Beyond the 90 as we're going to recap the second day of the first round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, the 2026 edition. What an amazing night this was, an amazing second day of Open Cup competition. A lot of action, a lot of goals, a lot of weird things happening. And I have to admit, some scary stuff that happened towards the back end of these games on the West Coast. We'll get to everything, of course, here on this video to talk about because, oh my God, unbelievable, just unbelievable action that we had here. And when you talk about all these young players across American soccer in our professional leagues, whether it be in Major League Soccer with the teenagers at the New York Red Bulls, or a teenager for Phoenix Rising, or a teenager with, this club over, let's just say for the heck of it, it's Greenville Triumph for FC Naples. You're seeing kids that are getting opportunities in a professional environment, in a tournament environment, and they're actually doing the job. They're actually doing something great. And maybe it's finally come to fruition that we're having players coming in and showing what they are made of, and they're absolutely doing a job. And it's unbelievable that maybe, just maybe, we've turned a corner here in American soccer. And if it's not in a league match, it's now in an Open Cup match. And we'll get to everything going on that happened today, Wednesday, no, excuse me, Wednesday, March the 18th, day two, 2026 U.S. Open Cup, round one proper. Here we go. Excitement galore. Unbelievable. I'm here just to deliver the message and the news to you folks. It's unbelievable. Chattanooga FC, a little bit of an issue, we thought. There might have been a cup set there. Didn't happen. They did make a comeback victory. 2-1 victory over Georgia's Kalanji Pro Profile. And the scenario we had was a penalty for Kalanji Pro Profile in the first half around the 11th, 12th minute. And when the penalty was taken, it was saved from Chattanooga. And then all of a sudden, the ball comes back out into a rebound just outside of Chattanooga FC's area, and out of the nowhere, chipping it into the back of the net, a rainbow chip that floated into the back of the net. Braden Kalanji, related to the Kalanji family that runs the academy, 14 years old. You heard me right. Braden Kalanji, 14 years old, scores the opening goal after the penalty was thwarted, and he celebrated into the far corner, knocking it down. They put it back up, obviously, on the AstroTurf field. But a 14-year-old, and I have to stress this, 14. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a 14-year-old, in a league match, an Open Cup match here in the United States, let alone maybe a 14-year-old in the Premier League or a 14-year-old playing in an FA Cup match doing something like that. Now, we know that Bayern Munich had to go to an under 16 goalkeeper in their academy to possibly play during their Champions League matchup in the round of 16. But a 14-year-old, I stress, an eighth grader before he goes to high school, scores his first professional goal in an environment in the Open Cup. That has to be a record. And if that is a record, if that is an actual record, then call the Soccer Hall of Fame, get the ball, send it to Frisco, put it in the Hall of Fame. A 14-year-old scored in the Open Cup for Kalanji Pro Profile. I mean, it's unbelievable. Call the kid up, have him interviewed in an open cup match, a 14-year-old, and you're thinking, could this 14-year-old actually lead Kalanji Pro Profile into a cup set? Could he lead this club into a possible advancement to the second round? Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately not. David Ortiz gets a lucky bounce on a rebound in first half stoppage time and made it 1-1. And then all of a sudden, right away at the restart of the match in the 46th minute, I hope I pronounced his name correctly, Amezain Sid Mohand, 46th minute, makes it 2-1. Kalanji tries to get that equalizer themselves. They could not do it, and Chattanooga FC advances to the second round. Valiant effort from Kalanji Pro Profile, but unbelievable how Braden Kalanji, until there's other, documentation that a 14-year-old or less or under, a 14-year-old or under, has scored in the Open Cup or the Challenge Cup when it was known back in the day. This is unbelievable, and I can't believe what happened there in Chattanooga, Tennessee. History, in my mind, to the modern day Open Cup, history has been made until we can find out is any documentation at all. I mean, it's unbelievable. A 14-year-old scoring in the U.S. Open Cup. Mind boggling, just blown. Unbelievable. Asheville City SC of USL League Two taking on Greenville Triumph of USL League One. And it would be Asheville City at home doing the damage. Second cup set of the first round, first of the day on the 18th of March. It was Evan Southern in the 13th minute that made it 1-0 for Asheville City. And then Devin Boyce in the 19th minute made it 1-1. You're going into the second half. Maybe this thing goes into extra time. And what happens? Ashton Billow makes it 2-1 Asheville City in the 83rd minute. And then to cement it, a sane fall in the second half stoppage time makes it 3-1. And Asheville City goes to Upset City and heads over to Cupset City. 3-1 Asheville City goes on to the second round. Cup set number 2 in the first round, first of the second day of the Open Cup first round proper. Charleston Battery, a 2-1 edging of Florida Badgers in their matchup. It was Colton Swan with a brace, gets the first goal in the 21st minute, even though Dave Altador made it 1-1 on the equalizer in the 65th minute. Of course, Florida Badgers from Boynton Beach, Florida. Colton Swan gets his second of the match in second half stoppage time to make it 2-1. And Charleston Battery advances. FC Naples takes care of Red Force FC. It would be Mark Torellis in the 24th minute, Hudson Gay in the 31st minute, and then in second half stoppage time, it would be Taylor Gray making it 3-0. Louisville City taking care of Southern Indiana FC, a 2-0 final. It was a brace by Tola Shoumi, and Louisville City advances easily into the second round of the Open Cup. FC Motown hosting Hartford Athletic. It was not held in Motown in Morristown, New Jersey. It was over in Newark, New Jersey at Lupkin Field. This match was on CBS Sports Network and streaming on Paramount Plus. It would be 2-0 Hartford Athletic. TJ Prestus in the 33rd minute made it 1-0, and then Anders Hernandez in the 51st minute finished the scoring. 2-0 Hartford Athletic. They advance into the second round. SC Vistula Garfield taking on one Knoxville SC. The New Jersey side had an early goal in the second minute. Simon Gorkowski, big goal, and it looked like they were on their way, but unfortunately for them, 14th minute, Babacar Dieng made it 1-1 in the 14th minute, and then Real Gill makes it 2-1 for Knoxville in the 21st minute. It looked like maybe Vistula Garfield was going to get a penalty in that first half to get an attempt to equalize the match. The referee did not call for the penalty, and so it was still 2-1 going into halftime. And unfortunately, it would be Michael going in the 76th minute to give one Knoxville the victory and the advancement into the next round for the U.S. Open Cup. Both's St. Louis at home hosting USL League One's Union Omaha, and unfortunately for Both's, they were destroyed. It was an absolute destruction by the Nebraska side, the two-time USL League One champions. Gabriel De Freitas in the 13th minute made it 1-0, and that was the match-winning goal. Everything else self-explanatory. Sammy Gudira, 21st minute, 2-0. Dylan Borzak, 34th minute, 3-0. Two goals from Samuel Owusu in the 49th minute and then in the 90th minute of regulation. And then Sergio Ors Navarro braced himself 2 minutes apart, 73rd minute and the 74th minute. And then Pato Bortello Faz, 81st minute, 8-0 for Union Omaha. And then San Antonio FC with their own destruction on Houston's ASC New Stars. Alexei Suahe, 16th minute. Kurt Kalov, the second goal for the 38th minute. Christian Sorto with a brace. He gets the penalty and he converts it in the 59th minute. And second goal came later after Dmitry Erofev makes his goal in the 65th minute. And then Emmanuel Johnson finishes it off in the 73rd minute to make it 6-0 for San Antonio FC. They advance to the second round. Little Rock Rangers at home of USL League Two lose to USL Championship side FC Tulsa. Harvey St. Clair in the 19th minute. And then it was Jamie Weber in the 32nd minute to make it 2-0. Raphael Christman pulled one back in the 51st minute, but it didn't matter. Lamar Batista for Tulsa in the 70th minute, 3-1. Aiden Turner in the 85th minute made it 3-2. As Little Rock tried to pull another one back, but too late. Nelson Pierre, second half stoppage time, made it 4-2 officially, and that was it. What a matchup we had here in New Mexico for New Mexico United. They defeat Cruisers FC by a final of 3-2. Ignacio Flores of Cruisers FC put the ball in his own net, and that was in the 13th minute to give New Mexico United the lead. Ariel Mbumba with a brace made it the first one in the 17th minute. His second one in first half stoppage time, and that was after Grady Gilchrist for New Mexico United made it 2-1 at the time, 38th minute, and then Mbumba first half stoppage time to make it 2-2 going into the second half. And then finally, it would be New Mexico's Christian Nava in second half stoppage time to make it 3-2 for New Mexico. They advance into the next round. Sacramento Republic, we're going to save that one for last because that was unbelievable. Here are the other matches. Cup set in Antelope Valley. AV Alta FC falls to Valley 559 FC, qualified through the playoffs, the qualification rounds of the Open Cup, representing the UPSL, and that would be Valley 559 FC's. If you remember this player's name, Quincy Amarikwa, he scores the only goal on a beautiful bending ball, 65th minute, and cup set number two of the day, third in round one. Unbelievable stuff. Ventura County Fusion falls to Spokane Velocity. It would be Anuar Pelaez, 20th minute. But then on a penalty, Abubakar Fofana makes it 1-1 in the 79th minute. But unfortunately, it's Joe Gallardo, 89th minute for Spokane Velocity, and they'll advance to the next round. Orange County SC of USL Championship taking on Laguna United, amateur side from California. Unfortunately, they fall to Orange County by a final of 3-0. Stephen Kelly, 26th minute. Ryan Dogman, 30th minute. And then in the 75th minute, Chris Hegart gives the match to Orange County SC. They advance to the next round. Now, Sacramento Republic taking on El Farolito. They host the match at Heart Health Park, excuse me. This was a revenge match from last year's third rounder in the 2025 Open Cup. No goals in regulation time, and it moves on into the extra time session, and it would be Forster Ajago. He gets his brace. 95th minute for the first one. Second one, second half stoppage time and extra time to make it 2-0. And then the red cards came out. The first one was after Forster Ajago's first goal in the 95th minute. That was by Sacre Kenta. In the 102nd minute, he gets sent off for a very, very reckless and rash challenge. And then the fireworks exploded in second half stoppage time. And it was absolutely disgraceful out there at Heart Health Park. We had multiple red cards thrown around in second half stoppage time, in extra time. Of course, you may remember Mark Anthony Kaye is with Sacramento Republic. He gets a red card, and he'll be suspended for the second round of the Open Cup for Sacramento Republic. And Sebastian Tabur, he also gets a red card, and he'll be suspended if El Farolito does qualify for the Open Cup for 2027. That was also in second half stoppage time of extra time. And then we had a skirmish in the stands between the El Farolito players and the fans of Sacramento Republic. And we saw the players of El Farolito running up the stairs and going into the crowd to face fans who actually threw, or they attempted to throw something at the field. And it was scary. I thought we were going to see I really thought we were going to see players mixing it up in the stands with the fans, and thankfully it didn't happen. It didn't just happen once; it happened twice, and thankfully nothing horrible happened. We did not see any punches being thrown in the stands by the El Farolito players to the fans of Sacramento Republic. You hope none of that ever happens. You really hope and pray that never happens at all. And we're seeing these two sides. They don't play each other in the same league, but if they ever face each other again in the Open Cup, this is now a derby in the Open Cup. The Sacramento Republic El Farolito derby is now alive and well in Open Cup play. If it does happen again, we'll see what happens. But this is amazing to watch. Scary at the end, but thank goodness nothing happened. Punches were not thrown from my vantage point, watching it on my TV screen here, of course, streaming on my TV through YouTube. It was unbelievable. It was scary. It was crazy. But once again, thankfully, nothing horrible happened. Nothing rash happened. And we can just be grateful no one was hurt, and police were not brought into this situation. Thank goodness for that. Here are the matches for Thursday, March 19th. All of them will be on YouTube, but here they are, the remaining matches of round one proper of the 2026 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. First things first, Carolina Core FC hosting Virginia Dream at 6 p.m. Eastern. Truist Point Park at High Point, North Carolina. Charlotte Independence will be hosting Ristosi FC. That'll be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern at the Mecklenburg County Sportsplex in Matthews, North Carolina. And then we're going to finish it off with Flint City Bucks taking on Forward Madison SC at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. 5:30 p.m. Central at the Don Bachelor Stadium in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Lexington SC hosting Flower City Union, 7 p.m. Eastern Time at the Lexington SC Stadium. Westchester SC taking on the New York Renegades at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Mount Vernon at the Mount Vernon Memorial Field in Mount Vernon, New York. That's Westchester County. That will be the battle of the New York City suburbs. Westchester County versus Long Island. Tennessee Tempo FC versus Chattanooga Red Wolves. That will be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central at the, if I can pronounce this correctly, the Richard Siegel Soccer Complex in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And finally, the Texas Derby. Laredo Heat SC will be hosting El Paso Locomotive at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Central at the PEG Energy Stadium in Laredo, Texas. Those are your matches for the remainder round one proper 2026 Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. Please join us here once again at Beyond the 90 for all of your USL Championship, USL HQ, USL Players Association, Union conversation. Of course, the CBA discussions, they're still going on. Hopefully, we'll get a response, we'll get an answer, we'll get a ratification of the CBA, and so that we don't have to worry about the strike call looming over our heads. Don't forget, of course, join myself, Carter Krishnaiyer, Alex Ashton, League One Updater, Rooster and the Villain, Talking USL League Two, Jonathan Starling, and the rest of the USL family conversation here at Beyond the 90. Of course, don't forget our YouTube page at Beyond the 90. Don't forget our Spotify page for Beyond the 90 as we give you these videos, whether it be a video cast or a podcast. Come and join us and listen up to what we guys say. Once again, my name is Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you very much for watching me here at Beyond the 90. This has been day 2 review, day 3 preview of the first round proper of the 2026 Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. As always, please enjoy your football. Thank you. Take care and talk to you tomorrow night. Bye-bye for now.